Yeah. I'm drinking vodka tonight because this man.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Cut down on calories.
I may switch to something harder.
I'm drinking LaCroix, the cola flavor. I don't feel like drinking. Okay, there she is. Is this her?
You guys, it was too much. It was too much. Had it.
We just need your video now, Jen.
I don't know what the flub is going on.
All I see is these joined hands.
And these knees.
Bye, guys.
Trying to come in because it always just goes back and forth between her name.
Forget it.
It doesn't have the option, like when you on the top, it doesn't have the video option.
It does, but every time it says turn camera on, it's still nothing.
Oh no!
Hi guys. What is that?
Well, I live in the city, so that's
Jenna lives on the struggle bus, friends.
Oh God!
I feel like this is a major struggle bus. I don't even know what this guy. Are we live right now?
Yes, honey.
Yes.
Hi and welcome to our Wi-Fi.
I don't have to hear his voice. It's so good. I'll just read.
Yeah, he's mostly talking about
He's shouting at people for doing great things.
Yeah.
Great job. Some trials over the past year touched this chamber very personally. With one of the toughest people ever to serve in this house.
Who's
a guy with the bullet, almost died and was back to work 3.5 months later. The legend from Louisiana, Congressman.
Legend.
What is this like shout out? Oh, because he got shot. That's what's happening where we're saying, good job, you.
Yeah, because he survived getting shot. Meanwhile, that woman saved 40 lives.
Yeah. Jen, would you like to hop off and hop back on? And
yeah, let me figure this out. Why does it say off air on the side here?
False
We
advertising.
don't know, but we're not. We're live.
That's what it is.
Ooh. Bye, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay, bye.
You gonna say?
We're incredibly grateful for the heroic efforts of the Capitol Police officers, the Alexandria Police, and the doctors, nurses, and paramedics who saved his life and the lives of many others, some in this room. In the aftermath, yes.
What in the flying? I have had it.
Did you add? You might have to add the wine podcast to your circle.
Oh my
Because
God.
it can just be super protected. Because that's what happened to me.
No, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Well, I logged it in, so. I don't know. This was not so complicated.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
Set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people. This is really the key. These are the people we were elected to serve.
So we were elected to serve just
I like that Nancy's in all black because she had a goddamn funeral. I respect it.
Oh my. I'm listening to whoever's audio is loudest on yours because I think I'm a minute behind.
That might be me.
Yeah, they just showed me.
He's talking about it's time for us to come together, the people that voted in office to do what they supposed to do. But like,
Would you turn?
Can we what?
There's a mountain, we climb it. If there's a frontier, we cross it.
You can't call for unity when you offending people and telling people they're from shithole countries.
So let's begin tonight by recognizing that the state of our union is strong because our people are strong.
I thought his whole argument was that we were not strong.
And we were not. That's why he needs to make it a great.
MAGA.
But maybe in that year he's made it strong. I'm not drinking.
Unemployment, yeah.
Yeah, you know, he
Call him.
saved the blacks, you know, he got us the blacks that unemployment rate is at an all-time low, you know.
Since the election, we have created 2.4 million new jobs.
This isn't even liquor. I feel so ashamed. I may switch though. It depends on what goes on.
Including 200,000 new jobs in manufacturing alone. Tremendous numbers.
Did you say 200 or 200 million?
200
Years and years
new.
of wage stagnation.
Yeah,
We are
200.
finally seeing.
Talk about those new job losses because of that damn solar deal they made. Let's talk about that. You ain't gonna talk about them job losses, are you?
Mm-mm.
Unemployment plans.
I'm presenting like this liquor. This is some sparkling water. But in my mind, it's liquor. Listen, it's called winter sangria. So
Get it.
in my mind, it's
What
liquor.
was that from Trader Joe's, Trees?
Water.
Please. Please.
Don't be taking credit for that. No.
Tree, are you listening to the audio that's ahead or just reading your captions?
Oh, snap. I'm reading the caption because I can't hear the audio anymore. What happened?
In history.
Oh, I don't know.
These black people in the audience look so disgusted. The ones with the they cloth on, they look disgusted.
They like, I'd rather be at the Black Panther premiere party.
At an all-time high. The stock market has smashed one record after another, gaining $8 trillion and more in value in just this short period of time. The
He
great
sounds like
Can
Dr.
we talk about how most
Evil
Americans
from
don't
Austin
even have
Powers.
investments in stocks?
He does sound like him.
great news for Americans. 401k, retirement pension, and college savings accounts have gone through the roof. And just as I promised the American people,
That's because your ass president, and we scared that we will not have any of the benefits that we have. First of all,
and
I feel like this is going to be the Trees commentary hour.
I'm sorry.
You guys, I've had it.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm just a pair of legs today. I might have to restart my computer. Oh, I hate him so much. Oh, look at stupid Mitch McConnell's face.
Stupid.
massive tax cuts provide tremendous relief for the middle class and small business.
Lower tax rates.
I think, Jen, your volume has to go down.
Oh, sorry.
The
Mine?
standard deduction.
Now the first $24,000 earned by a married couple.
Well, my job didn't benefit from this because I work in healthcare. We got a $50 million deficit. So
I like how
bonuses.
only half the audience is clapping. The other half is just dead silence.
Tax
Pretty much.
Yeah, but I don't fucking benefit because I got student loans.
Look at Ivanka Trump's stupid dress.
$75,000. We'll see their tax bill.
Don't hate on his mail order bride.
Whose face I also can't stand? Paul Ryan. Like, I'm tired of you.
Yeah, I want him to.
It's like times like this, I'm
All
in Boehner's
three
face when he's
of
sitting
them.
there throwing all kinds of shade at Obama when he spoke.
The
All
last
three of them.
ever filed.
Yep.
Pence looking
What
constipated.
up?
Ryan looking like a goddamn muppet.
Oh, welcome.
Hi.
I'm on my phone. That's what that pop socket is for, though.
This is like a GoPro.
It is
It's very.
bro. The action.
Are you in a scary movie running for your life right now? What's happening?
We
What are you
eliminated,
talking about?
especially
The way the camera's moving so quickly.
it fell mostly on Americans.
Or
making
an action sequence.
$50,000 a year.
Yes, that's what it.
Simply because they couldn't afford government-ordered health plans.
Oh, here we go with healthcare. Here we go with healthcare.
The disastrous Obamacare, the individual mandate is now gone.
Stressing me out.
Bernie. I can't.
Hey, I'm behind.
Y'all notice it's all white men.
What is this?
Oh, and Ben Carson is. Sit down.
Why was he doing that?
The business tax rate
Uh,
down to 21%. So
I
America
just saw Bernie looking disgusted. He was like,
You know what? I bet I could use my iPad.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting.
these changes alone are estimated to increase average family income
There he is.
$1,000.
Jen is having like her own action movie over here.
Good talking.
Have also received a massive tax cut and now deduct 20% of their business income. Here tonight are Steve Staub and Sandy Keplinger of Staub Manufacturing, a small, beautiful business in Ohio.
Small, beautiful business.
The
And
best
maybe-
year
Beautiful, creeps
in
me
the
out.
20-year.
Want to grab it?
No.
Grab it by the front door, you know?
Oh, oh man. I would not want to be called out by him at a speech. Ever.
at all, because everybody was like, nope, not going there.
Yep.
Because of tax reform, they are handing out raises, hiring an additional 14 people, and expanding into the building next door. Good feeling.
I feel like this speech is just going to be about everything that everyone else accomplished, and 45 is taking credit for it.
Corey Adams
Yeah,
also with
But
us
it will
tonight.
be. And his wall at some point, and
American worker.
I'm sure he'll call out the Democrats
Oh, look, they hired a
with
black person.
DACA.
During the
Yeah, they've got a black
2008
guy.
recession,
I guess.
He works for the company.
where he trained to become a welder
He probably just
and
got
he
hurt.
working Americans. Corey plans to invest his tax cut raise into his new home and his two daughters' education. Corey, please stand.
I'd be like, I'm good, G. I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to stand. I'm okay. My legs hurt. I'm tired. I'm okay.
I feel like you need
Well,
to
applauses are a good time for us to add our commentary, I think.
Yeah.
He's a great welder.
And he's a great
The man that owns that company that's doing so well. So congratulations, Corey.
This don't even sound real.
Fast
It doesn't.
Roughly 3 million workers have already gotten tax cut bonuses. Many of them thousands and thousands of dollars per worker, and it's getting more every month, every week. Apple has just announced it plans to invest a total of $350 billion in America and hire another 20,000 workers.
But like they're just giving us whatever they getting from the profits. And again, I'm not benefiting. I work in healthcare. How does that benefit me? I'm not getting a bonus.
He doesn't care about health.
Nope.
I'm not getting a raise.
And just a little while ago, ExxonMobil announced a $50 billion investment in the United States. Just a little while ago.
Is that gonna go towards infrastructure?
I don't think he knows what infrastructure is.
This is our new,
Because the I team has been investigating, and
there has never been a better time to sit in.
there's a lot of infrastructure stuff that needs to be
To
completed.
every citizen watching at home tonight, no matter where you've been or where you've come from,
Last,
your time. If you work hard, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in America, then you can dream anything. You can be anything. And together, we can achieve absolutely absolutely anything.
See, that's where the lies come in.
All lies.
Lies.
Pause it.
Lies. Damn
Except for,
lies.
all the dreamers that live here that can't achieve anything. But okay.
Don't the Democrats have dreamers as their guests?
Especially with these policies.
Tonight, I want to talk about what kind of future we're going to have and what kind of a nation we're going to be.
Let's talk about this white nationalist language you're probably about to use.
It's one team, one people, and one American family can do anything.
Are you going to apologize to us?
Same home.
For everybody that you've offended all
the same destiny.
However long since your ass been running for president?
Great American
now trees. You know better.
What did he just say?
I'm sorry, guys.
No. I just want to, what did he say?
I didn't quite catch it.
Oh my God.
Didn't quite catch everything there.
See Kamala Harris's
we are
face.
rediscovering the
Not happy.
American way. In America, we know that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the center of American life. The motto is "In God We Trust."
Paul Ryan. Shut up. I can't.
He didn't drink.
What? No. Paul, put this finger down. Put it down.
I hate him.
In God we trust. No, sir.
I just see it. I just got.
Amazing veterans as heroes who deserve our total and unwavering support.
This is a mess.
Watch his head.
Mess. Oh my God.
I've had it. I've had it, guys.
Hands up the bottle.
I just saw Paul Ryan. I'm way behind.
Oh no. Time zones, man. They kill us.
Is Preston Sharp, a 12-year-old boy from Redding, California, who noticed that veterans' graves were not marked with flags on Veterans Day. He decided all by himself to change that and started a movement that has now placed 40,000 flags at the graves of our great heroes. Preston, a job well done.
I'm gonna leave this little boy alone.
This poor child.
I'm gonna leave this 12-year-old alone.
There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like, when are you going to start actually talking about something?
Yeah.
It's unrelated to the state of the news.
Oh.
His mama geeks.
Barrington.
Young patriots like
Poor
Preston teach
child.
all of us about our civic duty as Americans. And I met Preston a little while ago, and he is something very special that I can tell you. Great future. Thank you very much for all you've done, Preston. Thank you very much.
I thought Preston's like, we didn't meet. I didn't meet.
His reverence for those who have served our nation reminds us of why we salute our flag, why we put our hands on our hearts for the Pledge of Allegiance, and why we proudly stand for the national anthem.
Really, and nothing good.
Y'all catch that shade?
Yes, I heard it.
Fuck you.
Oh Lord.
I'm like,
This is upsetting.
It is. Oh my God. Paul
It's so
Ryan.
frustrating.
It's whistle blowing. Dog whistling? What do you call it? Is it? No, dog whistling. Dog whistles?
Something like that, yeah. I was gonna say cat whistle.
I like how he said he's telling people that can be anything and everything, but he's talking to people that's not of color.
Pussy whistle.
For the last year, we have sought to restore the bonds of trust between our citizens and their government. Working with the Senate, we are appointing judges who will interpret the Constitution as written, including a great new Supreme Court justice and more circuit court judges than any new administration
Y'all catching this shit.
of our country.
Here we go with the Constitution. Here we go.
written 1,000 years ago.
Pull it up, Tia. Pull
We're
it up.
totally defending our Second Amendment and have taken historic actions to protect religious liberty.
Unless you're Muslim
I was just going to say, just certain religious liberty.
or Jewish.
Just say evangelical.
Yeah.
They tolerate Catholic.
And we are serving our brave veterans, including giving our veterans choice in their healthcare decisions.
Lord.
Does that mean you're going to cover it, though, and continue to pay for it, or what does this mean?
Maybe theirs, but not the children.
Oh.
Last year, Congress also passed, and I signed, the landmark VA Accountability Act. Since its passage, my administration has already removed more than 1,500 VA employees who failed to give our veterans the care they deserve. And we are hiring talented people who love our vets as much as we do.
Is that what he just said?
Unless they're transgendered.
Yes.
Right. I miss old State of the Unions where we talked about what's happening, the future.
Or what they're going to do.
Which has been my promise.
He's talking about what's happening. He's just he's just being offensive about it.
No, I mean like what's happening next, like our future, like policy.
Oh, you mean like actual to being presidential?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. Not today.
Nah.
Our wonderful heroes, our veterans. Thank you.
I have all respect and love for our veterans.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to talk about something else though.
Empower every cabinet secretary with the authority to reward good workers and to remove federal employees who undermine the public trust or fail.
Like you?
People.
What?
All of Congress?
His whole administration?
What? Yo, he's basically saying get rid of all federal employees that don't agree with him. What?
Bruh.
What?
To make Washington accountable. We have eliminated more regulations in our first year than any administration.
Baltimore has fucking won.
Is that a good thing?
Necessarily mean something good. We got rid of regulations, so we're great.
Right.
What?
You turn it into the Wild Wild West. No rules.
Right. And the only regulations.
On his smug face. Ugh.
That's all he did.
The war on American energy, and we have ended the war on beautiful, clean coal.
Stop saying beautiful. It's so uncomfortable.
Clean.
So uncomfortable.
You know how clean that coal is.
You literally come out.
We are now very proudly
Just
clean
an exporter
squeaky clean.
to the world.
Coal literally smudges you.
Don't mind the pollution. Coal either.
I halted government mandates that crippled America's great, beautiful auto workers so that we can get Motor City revving its engines again. And that's what's happening.
I don't know where the microphone is on this thing.
Hello.
Many car companies are now building and expanding plants in the United States, something we haven't seen for decades. Chrysler is moving a major plant from Mexico to Michigan Toyota and Mazda are opening up a plant in Alabama, a big one, and we haven't seen this in a long time. It's all coming back.
I don't care about anything he just said. I just think it's cool that those companies have open plants in the United States.
That part is cool.
No.
But my question is it because of the tax break, or is it because that was already a part of the plan? You know what I mean? Like a long-term trajectory plan anyway.
That would be something for us to fact check.
Yeah.
Are totally unaccustomed to hearing. For many years, companies and jobs were only leaving us. But now they are roaring back. They're coming back. They want to be where the action is. They want to be in the United States of America. That's where they want to be.
Go back to the people not clapping.
How they gonna go straight to the one? The fucking shade.
Exciting progress is happening every single day. To speed access to breakthrough cures and affordable generic drugs, last year, the FDA approved more new and generic drugs and medical devices than ever before in our country's history.
But
That's not a good thing.
I know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Did they approve marijuana? That'd be cool.
Some places.
Doubt it.
We also believe that patients with terminal conditions, terminal illness, should have access to experimental treatment immediately that could potentially save their lives. People who are terminal should not have to go from country to country to seek a cure. I want to give them a chance right here at home. It's time for Congress to give these wonderful, incredible Americans the right to try.
Yes. We just can't see you anymore.
Cheers, ladies. You can hear me or you can see me, okay? I can't get
Come back.
Bye.
I think it's because you turned your computer. Did you turn your computer volume down, or just the screen that had the audio?
I had the iPad. I have my iPad because my computer's not working with this.
Is to reduce the price of prescription drugs.
Okay. I love how he's like presenting prescription drugs on a platter.
One for you.
You get it, drug.
But can you talk about the opioid crisis for a moment?
Right.
No.
Drugs cost far less than what we pay in the United States, and it's very, very unfair. That is why I've directed my administration to make fixing the injustice of high drug prices one of my top priorities for the year.
Where did this come from? Were we talking about this before?
Who knows?
He's not very good at segues either, I guess.
He might have gone off script.
Prices will come down substantially. Watch.
Yeah, you watch.
America has also
Okay.
finally turned the page
As will roll.
on unfair trade deals that sacrificed our prosperity and shipped away our companies, our jobs, and our wealth. Our nation has lost its wealth, but we're getting it back so fast. The economic surrender is totally over. From now on, we expect trading relationships to be fair and, very importantly, reciprocal.
Importantly.
I hope that he sticks with that, especially poorer countries that we take advantage of.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he knows what reciprocal means.
He sure doesn't.
That's a big
I
word.
think someone just threw that in there like we need a big word. We need a big word.
Right.
I think he went off script.
But to be fair, protect American workers and American intellectual property through strong enforcement of our trade rules. As we rebuild our industries, it is also time to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure.
Infrastructure. There it is. Hi.
Oh,
Ask him to spell it.
yeah.
Whoa.
That's too much.
America is a nation of builders. We built the Empire State Building in just 1 year. Isn't it a disgrace that it can now take
Fact
10
checking.
just to get a minor permit approved for the building of a simple road?
I used to tell that to Illinois, who takes 5 years to build one goddamn road.
I'm asking both parties to come together to give us safe, fast, reliable, and modern
He
infrastructure.
put all the money to build up the military. I thought he cut infrastructure in his budget.
Yeah.
He cut a lot of domestic things like infrastructure and education and those NIH grants that give people.
All these people just stone faced. I love it.
It's like so many people are just so blank. Just blank. Or disgusted.
1 year and 45 days. But yes, it was close to 1 year for the Empire State Building.
Damn it.
These black people in these kente cloths, I love.
Should be leveraged by partnering with state and local governments and, where appropriate, tapping into private sector investment to permanently fix the infrastructure deficit, and we can do it.
How about we do it if we don't give you that fucking
Punch Paul Ryan, please. Like, just punch him in the face for me, please.
Any bill must also streamline the permitting and approval process, getting it down to no more than 2 years and perhaps even 1. Together, we can reclaim our great building heritage.
Okay.
We will build gleaming new roads, bridges, highways, railways, and waterways all across our land. And we will do it with American heart, American
What am
hands.
I presenting to everyone?
Grit.
Okay, we're back.
I don't know. I pressed the wrong thing, I think. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
No, because I noticed that it's only Mista as long as she doesn't
We
mind.
want every American to know the dignity of a hard day's work. We want
It's only me?
Yeah.
in their home.
Whose audio was that?
Run this show.
Nobody. It just came
We
like
all
that.
love
I
service.
feel awkward.
Lift our citizens.
You shouldn't have told her.
I feel like
Independence. And for
Well,
poverty
because
to
I actually,
prosperity.
what I ended up doing when I did that present to everyone, it was truth. But now it's not anymore.
Okay.
Okay, can we hear me now?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh, Jen, hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
We got like 5 minutes left.
it's not only me. I'm looking at it on YouTube.
Workforce development, and let's invest
It's Trees.
in job training.
Yeah, because I did the presentation thing. There's a lag on the live.
Here, Trump. Yes, invest.
So Shirley, since you
Job
can
training.
do that when we're speaking, so it's not jumping as much, would it be too much to put it on the person that's speaking?
It doesn't jump on the live stream just for us.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Wait, what was he yelling about?
Bernie.
Even Melania looks like she's bored.
Makes me-
She always
By
looks.
supporting
God, she's got to be like on drugs
I mean,
all
of course
the
she looks
time.
great if your face is frozen.
That poor Russian bride. Where's she from? Not Russia, right? She's from.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if she was from Russia, though?
She's on the inside.
That's why this year we will embark on reforming our prisons to help former inmates who have served their time get a second chance at life.
Right. Shut up.
Really?
Lying.
No
Really?
way. He's not a
Why
part
you
of
lying?
Slovenia, my bad.
Slovenia. Dang it, Tia.
Sorry.
A Novo Mesto, Slovenia. She's 5'11".
Wow.
Struggling
No, she was that tall.
especially immigrant communities, will also be helped
There's your
by
lying
immigration
children.
Oh,
policies
she
that
was a model, so I assume she did have to be tall.
of American workers and American families.
Mm.
For decades, open borders have allowed drugs and gangs to pour in.
Gangs.
They've allowed millions of low-wage workers to compete for jobs and wages against the poorest Americans.
Lies.
Most they have caused the loss of many innocent lives. Here tonight are two fathers and two mothers,
Here we
Evelyn
go.
Rodriguez, Freddie Cuevas, Elizabeth Alvarado, and Robert Mickens. Their two teenage daughters, Kayla Cuevas and Nisa Mickens,
Here we go with
close friends
MS-13.
on Long Island. But in September 2016, on the eve of Nisa's 16th birthday, such a happy time it should have been, neither of them came home. These two precious girls were brutally murdered while walking together.
I can't.
in their death. 6 members of the savage MS-13 gang have been charged with Kayla and Nisa's murders. Many of these gang members took advantage of glaring loopholes in our laws to enter the country as illegal, unaccompanied alien minors
I
and
can't.
wound up in
I'm
Kenya.
getting upset.
Guys, I don't want this life. I don't want this.
Evelyn, Elizabeth, Freddie, and Robert, tonight everyone in this chamber is praying for you. Everyone in America is grieving for you. Please stand. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Ew.
oh, way to like change the nap. Okay.
It's a mess.
He's making the Dreamers sound like all gang members.
He's making it sound like all immigrants are part of gang and criminal.
Just the ones that cross the borders.
Yep.
Illegal,
Like, all of them are part
unaccompanied,
of MS.
undocumented minors. We're not-
Alien. And do you notice that these parents are Latino, but they're Black Latino? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Other than that little child, all his guests have been somewhat like diverse.
This makes me so angry. This
I'm
makes
I'm
me-
upset because he using them for his platform and I don't like it.
Right.
Now, breaking for you. We love you. Thank you.
We're gonna have to do like a Shonda 101 to
Imagine
like let people know
that
how
kind
they fucking work because this pissed me off so bad.
never have to endure this kind of pain. Tonight, I am calling on Congress to finally close the deadly loopholes that have allowed MS-13 and other criminal gangs to break into our
It's
country.
not fucking loopholes.
Propose new legislation that will fix our immigration laws.
That's not gonna stop them from coming.
ICE and Border Patrol agents. These are great people. These are
But that's
great.
not who ICE are going after right now.
No, they're going after Dreamers.
Right.
So they have the Dreamers information.
Can never happen again.
Literally, the Dreamers had to give all of their information
All
to
of it.
the government to be here. They
And-
are not the issue. Like, what the fuck?
And he just made it seem like they are.
And they're not criminals. Like they can't
No.
be criminals to be a
Literally, you can't have a criminal offense.
In any,
No, none at all.
anywhere in the world to help the needy, the struggling, and the underprivileged all over the world. But as President of the United States, my highest loyalty,
It's America.
greatest compassion,
Oh God, we already know.
concern is
Is
for America's children, America's struggling workers, and America's
Oh, now we about to be isolationists? Like, what the fuck
Right.
does this mean?
to achieve great things I want our poor to have their chance to rise. So tonight, I am extending an open hand to work with members of both parties, Democrats and Republicans, to protect our citizens of every background, color, religion, and creed.
How, Sway?
How are you gonna do that?
How?
You can't just say stuff. You can, but
because some of those policies that Democrats and people in the House try to bring to the floor, they don't even make it because they don't have the support. So what? How? What you gonna do?
Of every elected official in this chamber is to defend Americans, to protect their safety, their family, their community, and their right to the American dream. Because Americans are dreamers too.
What? No, he did not.
Bro.
Yes, he did.
What?
He sure did.
He did
Sure did.
not.
He did.
What?
Yep, you heard him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did he just say Americans are dreamers too?
Yes. Yes. He
You?
did.
Oh my!
And why are we protecting the dreamers? Like, I don't.
Homeland Security Investigation
This
Special
is
Agent
not.
Celestino Martinez. He goes by DJ and CJ. He said, "Call me." So we'll call you CJ. Sir, 15 years in the Air Force before becoming an ICE agent and spending the last 15 years fighting gang violence and getting dangerous criminals
Of course.
off of our streets. Tough job. At one point, MS-13 leaders ordered CJ's murder, and they wanted it to happen.
What is with this war on MS-13? Like, where did that come from?
It's not new. It's a huge.
Last May.
No, I know who the gang is. They've been around for years, but I'm wondering, like, how did he become so like I have to attack them?
Because the Republicans have been using that for years statewide, like especially on the East Coast, big in New York and Jersey.
We have sent
because I knew about it, but like, oh my god,
thousands of MS-13 horrible people out of this country into our prisons. So I just want to congratulate you, CJ. You're a brave guy. Thank you very much.
Out of our countries and into our prisons? That doesn't make sense.
Well, listen, what are we expecting from him? I mean,
He was just talking about prison reform too, and now he's like, we're gonna fill that prison back up.
Sorry.
but of course, let's use Martinez to talk about MS-13.
Right. Exactly.
Good one. He's the good Latino.
We don't do that.
I do not like this.
That's a
Token
You and all of the people in this great chamber have to do it. We have no choice. CJ, we're going to send you and we're going to send them to you quickly. It's what you do.
This is making me so angry.
Over the next few weeks, the House and Senate in recent months, my administration has met extensively with both Democrats and Republicans to craft a bipartisan approach to immigration reform. Based on these discussions, we present with a detailed supported by both parties as a fair compromise, one where nobody gets everything they want, but where our country gets the critical reforms it needs and must have.
Such as, here we go. Okay.
Right. Go on.
Uh-oh.
Here are the 4 pillars of our plan.
What's wrong, Rubio?
Of our framework generously offers a path to citizenship for 1.8 million illegal immigrants who were brought here by their parents at a young age. That covers almost 3 times more people than the previous administration covered.
Really? We still doing this. This is getting old.
One of them. You know?
Under our plan, those who meet education and work requirements and show good moral character will be able to become full citizens of the United States over a 12-year period.
12 years? 12
The
years.
second pillar fully secures the border.
I think that's wrong.
But they've already what? I quit.
What are the purple ribbons for? Did I miss that?
I forgot.
That means
Hold
building
on.
a great wall on the southern border, and it means hiring more heroes like CJ to keep our communities safe.
We don't need a wall. We are not China. We do not need a great wall.
It's already been proven that the wall
The
doesn't.
opioid crisis.
Did nobody watch Mulan? The wall didn't work.
The purple ribbons are for the opioid crisis.
Exploited by
Thank you.
criminals and terrorists to enter our country. And it
You want to address it at all?
the horrible and dangerous practice of catch and release.
They aren't fish. What are you talking about?
What are we fishing?
That's what I'm like. What?
So, is that like related to stop and frisk?
Ends the visa lottery, a program
It
that
sounds like he's treating humans like fish. If you ask me, that sounds very inhumane. I'm calling the United Nations on this.
American people.
They don't randomly hand out green cards. Yo, bruh.
Look at these people.
Time to begin moving toward a marathon.
Like this, like
One that admits people who are skilled, who want to work, who will contribute to our society, and who will love.
I'm so upset I could cry right now.
I know. Okay.
Like I am really upset. Like this is why I didn't want to watch this because I knew nothing was going to be helpful. I did not want to watch this.
Nuclear family by ending chain migration. Under the current broken system, a single immigrant can bring in virtually unlimited numbers of
False.
distant relatives.
False.
Under our
What?
plan,
That's
we
a
focus
fucking
on
lie.
the immediate family by limiting
You're just
sponsored
spreading fear.
spouses and minor children.
What?
That's a fucking lie. Literally, all you can bring are children or parents.
This vital reform
Maybe
is necessary not just
Cousins,
for our
aunts,
economy,
uncles. Like you
but
literally.
for our security and for the future of America. In recent weeks, 2 terrorist attacks in New York were made possible by the visa lottery and chain migration.
You know what?
In the age of terrorism, these programs present risks. We can
Ooh, I am so livid because he'll bring up this shit about immigration, how there was a terrorist attack, but he won't bring up shit about how there was a shooting in Kentucky just like a little couple days ago at a school, right? Like,
Yes.
But we won't talk about gun laws or any restrictions on that. People will be like, those fucking immigrants, though.
21st century.
Bro, my heart rate,
These
my
4
blood
pillars
pressure is like.
represent a down the
You don't
middle
know how bad I want to go. Like I'm so mad I'm not drinking today.
modern and lawful immigration system. For over 30 years, Washington has tried and failed to solve this problem. This Congress can be the one that finally makes it happen. Most importantly, these 4 pillars will legislation that fulfills my ironclad pledge to sign a bill that puts America first.
Can he just say white people and stop saying America first?
Right.
So let's
No,
come
like my
together.
blood pressure. I can't.
Set
What?
politics aside and finally get the job done.
So,
These reforms will also support our response to the terrible crisis of opioid and drug addiction. Never before has it been like it is
There it is.
now.
terrible.
Oh, okay.
Something.
Terrible.
In 2016, we lost 64,000 Americans to drug overdoses, 174 deaths per day, 7 per hour. We must get much tougher on drug dealers and pushers if we are going to succeed in stopping this scourge.
Because that's the only part of it that matters. That's the only part of it that
The
matters.
fucking medical doctors giving this shit out like candy. Are you fucking kidding me?
I can't. What?
Oh my
Let's talk
God.
about the medical system. Let's talk about
My
treatment.
administration is committed
Oh my
Now
God.
you know better than that.
to treatment for those in need,
Oh, here we go.
for those who have been so terribly hurt. The struggle will be long and it will be difficult, but as Americans always do, in the end, we will succeed, we will prevail.
That wasn't it, was it?
I think so.
He ended on the opioid stuff?
No. Just that. It's another round of
Sounded like
one.
he's wrapping it up.
Guys, no, he's over an hour.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Oh my God.
Best in
He didn't
America.
start at exactly
We
9.
see a
I think it was like
vivid
9/11,
expression
9/10.
of this truth.
That's true. Okay.
Story of the Holetz family of New Mexico. Ryan Holetz is 27 years old, an officer with
he's
the
white.
Albuquerque Police Department. He's here tonight with his wife, Rebecca.
Huh? Oh, baby.
But why haven't got the black families there?
Thank you, Ryan. Last year, Ryan was on duty when he saw a pregnant, homeless woman preparing to inject heroin. When Ryan told her she was going to harm her unborn child, she began to weep. She told him she didn't know where to turn, but badly wanted a safe home for her baby. In that moment, Ryan said he felt God speak to him. You will do it because you can. He heard those words. He took out a picture of his wife and their 4 kids. Then he went home to tell his wife, Rebecca. In an instant, she agreed to adopt. The Holetz named their new daughter Hope. Ryan and Rebecca, you embody the goodness of our nation. Thank you.
So tragedy will only point out the minorities, and being a savior will point out the white people. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Essentially.
I have too many.
Thank
I
you,
mean, I
Ryan
won't
and
take away
Rebecca.
from what they did. They did a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
As we rebuild America's strength and confidence at home, we are also restoring our strength and standing abroad. Around the world, we face rogue regimes, terrorist groups, and rivals like China and Russia that
I can't.
challenge
Every
our
time he says
interests.
Why you leaving China? What China do to you? I thought China was cool. What happened?
Whoa, I thought Russia was his best friend.
I thought China were alliances.
Putin ain't gonna like this shit.
Conflict. And unmatched power is the surest means to our true and great defense. For this reason, I am asking Congress to end the dangerous defense sequester and fully fund our great military.
Really, Jeff Sessions.
I'm so aggravated.
Me too. Probably wouldn't need all this military if our president wouldn't shut the fuck up about taunting North Korea.
He also just called China one of our enemies. I
That's
knew
what I
Russia.
don't
What
understand.
the fuck China do to you?
We must modernize and rebuild our nuclear arsenal, hopefully never having to use it, but making it
Then why are we rebuilding it if we never
Rebuild?
use it?
that it
Go
will
ahead,
deter
Jen.
any
Lay it out.
acts
Okay.
of
Okay.
another nation.
I was
or
We're age restricted, so we're good.
okay. Okay.
Perhaps someday in the future there will be a magical moment when the countries of the world will get together to eliminate their nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, we are not there yet, sadly.
Well, when you say let's build our
Here,
nuclear
I also
arsenal,
pledge
Right.
that we work
what do you expect
with
others
our
to do?
allies to
On
extinguish
Putin and China.
from the face of the earth. 1 year later, I am proud to report that the coalition to defeat ISIS has liberated very close to 100% of the territory just recently held by these killers in Iraq and in Syria and in other locations as well.
Hmm. They are literally moving targets.
But there is much more work to be done. We will continue our fight until ISIS is defeated. Army Staff Sergeant Justin Peck is here tonight. Near Raqqa last November, Justin and his comrade, Chief Petty Officer Kenton Stacy, were on a mission to clear buildings that ISIS had rigged with explosive so that civilians could return to that city, hopefully soon and hopefully safely. Clearing the second floor of a vital hospital, Kenton Stacy was severely wounded by an explosion. Immediately, Justin bounded into the booby-trapped and unbelievably dangerous and unsafe building.
Shit. Sorry.
Found Kenton, but in very, very bad shape.
I'm surprised you don't say anything when they say Putin, you know?
And inserted to reopen an airway.
It's their duty.
CPR for 20 straight minutes during the ground transport and maintained artificial respiration through 2.5 hours and through emergency surgery.
Bro, half of this speech is accurate.
Kenton Stacy would have died if it were not for Justin's selfless love for his fellow warrior. Tonight, Kenton is recovering in Texas. Raqqa is liberated, and Justin is wearing his new Bronze Star with a V for Valor. Staff Sergeant Peck, all of America salute you.
This is not a children's book or a John Grisham novel. V for Valor is not a thing. Please don't do that. Don't talk like that. Oh.
I mean, thank you for your service, sir. But
Always, but you know.
I slept
Yes.
for like 10 minutes. I just
My dad's an army brat. I have the utmost respect.
Right.
I'm just saying, don't name it V for Valor.
Terrorists who do things like place bombs in civilian hospitals are evil. When possible, we have no choice but to annihilate them.
Oh, here
When
we go.
necessary,
I don't know.
be able to
Who are you
detain
trying
and
to kill?
question them. We must be clear. Terrorists are not merely criminals. They are unlawful enemy combatants.
We learned a new word, guys.
He's just throwing shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very disheartening to watch this.
And when captured overseas, they should be treated like the terrorists they are. In the past, we have foolishly released
Oh, it's okay to torture them as long as they overseas.
only to meet them again on the battlefield, including the ISIS leader, al-Baghdadi, who we captured, who we had, who we released. So today, I'm keeping another promise. Signed, prior to walking in, an order directed.
I'm so over this.
Was a great job. Thank you.
But what did the order say? I want cheese nuggets or chicken nuggets after this? Like, what order did you sign? What order?
Dang, Shirley.
You ain't saying nothing. I signed this order. For what? For what, my G? For what?
To re-examine our military detention policy and to keep open the detention facilities in Guantanamo Bay.
Nobody said what?
You keep that shit open?
What the
What?
fuck?
What?
What?
To ensure that in the fight against ISIS and Al-Qaeda, we continue to have all necessary power to detain terrorists wherever we chase them down, wherever we find them.
Bro,
And in
he's
many
itching
cases,
for a war,
for them,
bro.
it will now
That's
be
what it sounds like.
Guantanamo Bay. At the same time, as of a few months ago, our warriors in Iraq have new rules of engagement.
New rules of engagement. Okay? Do you hear this?
Along with their heroic Afghan partners, our military is no longer undermined by artificial, and we no longer tell our enemies. Last month, I also took an action endorsed unanimously by the U.S. Senate just months before. I recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Oh, my Jared, so much.
This is no bueno, guys. No bueno.
Shortly afterwards, dozens of countries voted in the United Nations General Assembly against America's sovereign right to make this decision. In 2016, American taxpayers generously sent those same countries more than $20 billion in aid. That is why tonight I am asking Congress to pass legislation to help ensure American foreign assistance dollars always serve American interests and
Are
only
you fucking serious?
friends of America, not enemies of America.
Are you fucking serious?
Bro, I'm like weary. This is
I am
not.
so scared right now.
We're screwed.
Dude, like, because you don't do what I say,
As
we
we
not fucking with you?
Right.
friendships all around the world, we are also restoring clarity about our adversaries. When the people of Iran rose up against the crimes of their corrupt dictatorship, I did not stay silent. America stands with the people of Iran in their courageous struggle for freedom.
Countries on countries. I don't understand. How did this?
I am asking Congress to address the fundamental flaws in the terrible Iran nuclear deal. My administration has also imposed tough sanctions on the communist and socialist dictatorships in Cuba and Venezuela.
We were working with Cuba.
Just like picking at all these countries. Like, let's see who we can make an enemy next.
But no regime has oppressed its own citizens
That Cold War that we've been fighting that never went away.
than
Just
the
got
cruel
real hot.
dictatorship in North Korea.
Here we go, North Korea.
Oh, here we go.
Ah.
Our homeland. We are waging a campaign of maximum pressure to prevent that from ever happening. Past experience has taught us that
Nothing you
complacency
do not learn from it.
and concessions only invite aggression and provocation. I will not repeat the mistakes of past administrations.
But you already have.
Very dangerous position.
I mean, Obama's a
We need only look at the depraved character of the North Korean regime to understand the nature of the nuclear threat it could pose to America and to our allies. Otto Warmbier was a hard-working student at the University of Virginia.
Get us to this.
Great student he was. On his way to study
Oh, okay.
abroad in Asia, Otto joined a tour to North Korea. At its conclusion, this wonderful young man was arrested and charged with crimes against the state. After a shameful trial, the dictatorship sentenced Otto to 15 years of hard labor before returning him to America last June, horribly injured and on the verge of death. He passed away just days after his return. Otto's wonderful parents, Fred and Cindy Warmbier, are here with us tonight, along with Otto's brother and sister, Austin and Greta. Please.
Why is it still going? Is my question.
I don't know.
Because he gets to talk and everybody has to listen.
That's true. That's all it really needs for him to be talking. Yeah.
Incredible people. You are powerful witnesses to a menace that threatens our world, and your strength truly inspires us all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Tonight we pledge to honor Otto's memory.
It's been long.
Yeah.
Total American resolve. Thank you. Finally,
Okay, is that it? Please be done.
we are joined by one more witness to the ominous nature of this regime. His name is Mr. Ji Sung-ho. In 1996, Sung-ho was a starving boy in North Korea.
I mean,
One day he tried to steal coal from a railroad car to barter for a few scraps of food, which were very hard to get. In the process, he passed out on the train tracks, exhausted from hunger. He woke up as a train ran over his limbs.
I
He then
cannot.
endured multiple amputations without anything to dull the pain or the hurt. His brother and sister gave what little food they had to help him recover and ate dirt themselves, permanently stunting their own growth. Later, he was tortured
Small.
by Korean authorities after returning from a brief visit to China. His tormentors wanted to know if he'd met any Christians. He had, and he resolved after that to be free. Sung-ho traveled thousands of miles on crutches all across China and Southeast Asia to freedom. Most of his family followed. His father was caught trying to escape and was tortured to death. Today, he lives in Seoul, where he rescues other defectors and broadcasts into North Korea what the regime fears most, the truth. Today, he has a new leg, but Sung-ho, I understand you still keep those old crutches as a reminder of how far you've come. Your great sacrifice is an inspiration to us all. Please, thank you.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You know what I don't understand is that he's like, this guy's a hero for leaving his country to go somewhere else to find freedom, but yet here we are, like advocating, like, oh, people coming into the U.S. to find freedom, get ICE on them. We can't have them in our country.
Speak on it, Jen.
So why,
Speak
I
on
don't understand
it.
why this guy is something to celebrate about, but we have shit going on in our own country, and he can't have that. I don't.
He's living in South Korea, not the United States.
Makes no sense.
Sung-ho's story is a testament to the yearning of every human soul to live in freedom. It was that same yearning for freedom that nearly 250 years ago gave birth to a special place called America.
Fuck
It was
this.
a small cluster of colonies caught between a great ocean and vast wilderness. It was home to an incredible people
Did he just shit on Native Americans right now?
Hold on.
that they could rule themselves, that they could chart their own destiny, and that together they could light up the entire world. That is what our country has always been about. That is what Americans have always stood for,
Has it?
strived for, and always done. Atop the dome of
I'm
this
trying to not cry.
stands the Statue of Freedom. She stands tall and dignified among the monuments to
Do you
our
even know who gave us that?
fought
Who? Wait, who is he talking about?
and
The
monuments to
Statue of
Washington
Freedom
and Jefferson.
I thought he was about
on
the
top
Statue
of
of
the
Liberty.
Capitol building.
Oh,
To the heroes.
I was gonna say he's about the Statue of Liberty because you know that was given to us by France, right?
And that's a woman.
Young Americans who shed their blood on the shores of Normandy and the fields beyond, and others who went down in the waters of the Pacific and the skies all over Asia. And freedom stands tall.
World War II.
One more monument. This one. This capital. This living monument. This is the monument to the American people.
what he just said there at all.
World War II is what he said. You know, Beach of Normandy, falling down all over the Pacific.
What are they chanting? USA. Fuck this shit.
We're a people whose heroes live not only in the past, but all around us, defending hope, pride, and defending the American way. They work in every trade. They sacrifice to raise a family. They care for our children at home. They defend our flag abroad. And they are strong moms and brave kids. They are firefighters and police officers and border agents, medics and Marines. But above all else, they are Americans. And this capital, this city, this nation belongs entirely to them.
So those are the
white people that came here.
Okay, because that's what I thought. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Y'all are funny. Is this nigga done? Like,
Because I'm tired. Like I don't care to listen anymore. I've zoned out like 20 times since.
And to always be worthy of them.
I've never felt like a speech degraded.
The world
Just didn't include.
They push the bounds of science and discovery. And they forever remind us of what we should never, ever forget. The people dreamed this country. The people built this country. And it's who are making.
You mean the slaves?
The people stole this country.
Oh, and it's the people who are who make America great again. The white people.
I can't.
The speech sucks.
Just on a fundamental level, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this shit wouldn't fly in like high school speeches.
Could you imagine President Obama like making a call to the Black Panthers and like the NAACP, like all the like national Black everything?
Yeah.
Faith in our citizens and trust in our God.
But we don't feel
Will never fail. Our families will thrive. Our people will prosper. And our nation
white people
forever be safe and strong and proud and mighty and free. Thank you.
White people.
And God bless America. Good night.
Okay. So
No Crash just heading on out.
let's
Is he done?
I think he's done.
I'm behind. Okay. Let me just turn off my.
So let's.
Okay. I made a list of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I'm just gonna throw out something, and then you guys can talk about it, or say I want to talk about something else.
Okay.
Let's see here.
We have a couple things in our chat too.
Okay. So anybody just throw out anything at any point. Let's start with America's Are Dreamers Too.
Ooh.
Thoughts, feelings, opinions.
So that was kind of a thread throughout, but especially at the end with the young man from North Korea. He's, as Jenna Lynn pointed out, he's like giving this whole anecdote about this young man who fled to another country. Fled to another country to have freedom. And we're praising him and lauding him as we should. And yet, our dreamers who came here.
Where have I?
Who came here to seek freedom, who fled to seek freedom to this country. We are not going to praise them. Also, He went and tried to go back to the history of this country and say this country was founded by people who fled such persecution and wanted freedom, and they are the great people. But what about our immigrants, though? Like, what?
Go back a step further with that. Since we're going to get into the history of this country, we might as well talk about Native Americans and how they gave them all kind of illnesses and killed them. And then now they only have reservations when this was their country in the first place, and they took it from them.
Manifest destiny. Not to mention the reservations that we did allow them.
Yes.
We have decided that we're going to drill for things that we would like because it makes us money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that makes me think of and wonder and question? If this is all just a reaction to like nationwide projection, right? Like, so these people did this to the Native Americans, to the original Americans, the natives, when they came here. Mm-hmm. And so they fear the same thing happening to them. Like, is this just like a huge projection issue? Like, I'm talking psychological terms, projection, not like projection.
Yes.
For the viewers and listeners out there, look up projection. I'm not going to explain it.
I would say possibly because there is all this research out about how at some point white people will become the minority. At some point, the next, I forgot how many years, but there's like research on it.
It's like 2050-ish.
Huh?
It's like 2050-ish.
Yeah. So they're trying to, protect that, but then that means they would have to go back into do a lot of shit that can't really prevent that from happening, like interracial dating and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Just a thought, it just came up. Where were you going with that, Tia?
Which part?
The original topic. I forgot what it started off with, but your bullet point there.
Dream and like this guy.
Oh, Americans are dreamers too.
Ah, yes. What was your thought with that?
I was just jotting down notes, but
okay.
Like topics to bring up later. No, I mean it was just such a. Obviously, this has been a very heated thing with him and Republicans and Democrats, and he just decided he was going to not even directly address it, but just throw some shade in there, like throw a little jab in. He didn't even have the balls to actually talk about it, and like, I mean, I guess he did a little bit, but to fit his narrative in there, right?
It was a low blow to use that as like a play on words, considering how sensitive the topic of dreamers is right now. Like,
so petty.
You could have said something else, but they did that on purpose.
What's his name? What was it? Stephen Miller?
Stephen Miller.
Ugh, that asswipe.
Yeah, he hates immigrants, so.
And like these people were children. These are not adults that brought themselves over here. These were children that were brought over here and happened to grow up here.
Yeah.
And speaking of
you're attacking they're not children anymore, but like you're attacking people that had no control over what happened to them. And then you're saying, fuck you. Mm-hmm. Go back to where you came from. Even though you didn't have a choice or say in what happened to you. So go back to something you don't know much, like you grew up here. You don't know much about it. So go back.
Well, that goes to two other parts of his speech, though. Number one, he conveniently tried to tie them into the narrative of MS-13. Okay, that's not how it worked. These young minors that came here into this country came here as children. They did not come here as members of MS-13. Members of MS-13 came here and typically did a crime, I can't think of the right words, within the first 2 years of being in this country. We're not talking about immigrants that have been here for a long time. We're not talking about the dreamers. We're not talking about the children that have been here. These MS-13 gang members like I said, typically end up committing crimes within the first 2 years of them being in this country. They're caught very quickly. Also, it also ties into his narrative of I forget now, but yes.
I get you on that.
Like the 12-year period. Like what are you like?
I think that's gonna piss off a lot of people because that timeline, that year is something that was new, at least new to us. That was not something that was in the deals that they have been trying to discuss and get for the legislation for the Dreamers. That was like that 12 years was never this is my first time hearing the whole 12 years to citizenship. I did know that he was gonna do like 1.2, 1.4 million Dreamers were gonna be able to stay and get citizenship, but that whole
1.8 he said in the speech.
That's something completely different, and I guarantee you they not like the Democrats not gonna go for that shit. Like no human being would go for some shit like that because they've already been here for so long. Why would you make them wait 12 more years? They're adults. They're like they're in their 30s and 40s at this point.
Well, I think in that section, he was talking about new people going for that process. But I feel like even if that's the case, the stipulations will probably be very intense, meaning you probably wouldn't be able to do it until you turn 18, possibly. So even if we're talking about 12 years, we're looking at you turn 30, and that's when you possibly maybe are given citizenship. What fees, money will you have to provide during that 12-year frame? Bullshit. Fuck that process.
And talk about, since we're on immigration, let's talk about how he lied. They have not say they haven't been going through, getting like focusing on MS-13, but the information that they have that's coming from ICE, they have the information of the Dreamers, and they're doing the raid. They're raiding, like they just raided a lot of 7-Elevens, and I'm not talking about just like going and asking for papers. They're like coming in the middle of the night, early in the morning, like 4:00 in the morning, asking people for documentation. And raiding buses, which they aren't supposed to do, like Greyhound buses and stuff like that for Dreamers. And people, anxiety's at an all-time high. So, like, we need something right now. Like, I don't know. I'm frustrated. Sorry.
It is frustrating. But the problem with his speech was that he did touch base on the Dreamers for like 2 seconds, but then he went into the MS-13. So the overall message is that he's like, saying that immigrants are bad, these illegal immigrants are criminals. So it completely overshadows anything that he ever even said about the Dreamers. So now all you're thinking about are these like MS-13 gangs. Anybody who's here who's an illegal immigrant are dangerous. So he's playing off of that whole fear-based, concept during his speech, which works on his base. So it sucks that the Dreamers didn't really get a chance in his speech, which I don't think he would even want it to be.
And then he twists it around like the real Dreamers are the current American citizens. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Right.
So do you I can see the propaganda out there starting this evening about who the real Dreamers are. I can see it already. And I can hear it, and I'm disgusted. Oh, my blood pressure.
It's so high.
I'm trying to still, yeah. And the other thing too is even thinking about the population that he's targeting. Let's be real, he's targeting Spanish speaking countries because MS-13, they're from Guatemala, Spanish speaking countries. So that's
it's looking. Oh, sorry.
Fear. Go
ahead.
It's looking because I still have the
thing going,
after show or whatever playing. What's the guy with the glasses? The black guy, Van. What's his last name?
Van Jones.
Van Jones on CNN.
He's basically saying that these gang members or whoever, the actual number, if I'm reading it, is 39 out of 2 million, I think, people. So he's pushing these insignificant numbers as a representation of all these people who are here being okay people and trying to make that, sorry, I'm really tired, the billboard, trying to make them a billboard or a scapegoat to say this group of people is, violent or negative to our community. It's only 39, 39, not 39,000, less than 50. I'm disgusted.
He's literally the person that says, hey, this happened once. So it could happen to you. So let's
Right.
pretend like it's going to happen to you instead of looking at probability and odds and saying, hey,
Oh,
this
I
is likely
forgot
to
this.
not actually affect you.
I
Who's
forgot
giving
this.
it? Oh,
The
it's a Kennedy.
Kennedy
I can
kid.
tell by his
Oh,
hand.
The
Joe
Kennedy
Kennedy is
kid.
doing the
Yeah.
Democratic one.
I knew it. I could tell by his head that it was a Kennedy. I was like, yep, that's a Kennedy.
Do you want to tune in a little bit?
Don't have those heads.
No, I want to. What is this about? I don't know.
This is but they always have a response at the end for the State of the Union.
Yeah.
The Democrats.
Oh, are you guys watching it now?
Her opposing team.
We'll just pop in just for a second. He just started.
I'm telling you, that Kennedy head is serious.
It
He
is.
looks like a Kennedy. I mean,
Exactly. It's the head, James.
it's like a carbon
Tell
copy of a Kennedy. How do they do it? That's genetics, I guess.
How do they do it?
How do they do that? DNA.
It's magic. All right, guys. Speaking of bad segues, which were all of Trump's, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Guantanamo. How do you guys feel about that?
Bro.
I can't.
What?
I don't understand that.
Because we know, like, even, you know, when we were like in school and shit, like the stuff that we learned that was going on down there and the hands that even the profession that we're in, like Cher was involved in it, and it should just not be, no, it should be closed.
Right.
I'm just,
It was
Yeah.
on the path to being closed, wasn't
it was
it?
on the
It
path.
was.
They were
I
on
think so.
it. Yeah.
I just feel like if anybody was trying to have it make a significant resurgence, this would be it. I can't say I don't agree with it, but I'm not shocked or surprised or anything of that nature. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Right.
The more bullshit.
It does sound like he's just reaching for anything and hoping something sticks.
Mhm.
Like he's just like, let's, I don't know, Guantanamo Bay? Maybe, guys. Let's keep it open.
Obama was
What
going to close
happens?
that? Let's bring it back.
Let's keep it open. You know, he has like no direct path of what to do in his position. There's no like leadership. There's no like, oh, yes.
No, not true. The wall. The Great Wall of
But he
America.
doesn't even know what this wall is going to be. He's like, it could be a plastic wall. It could be a pretend wall. It's just something goes up. He doesn't even have a plan for what this wall should be. Yet he still wants it.
Hey, I'll take a line of bricks right along the border. Just one brick.
Just
you know?
give him a just say, you know what?
Metaphorical brick wall. It's a literal and
Ants are gonna have a hard time, man.
Right.
These ants.
Why don't you just tell the other people on the other side, like, the floor is lava. Don't come on over here. So you just stay on that safe side.
Yeah.
Not the floor is lava.
That should work, right?
Like true Americans and New Girl.
Like, right.
Yes, true
That's all
American.
right.
Girl.
That's all you need.
Oh.
I don't know. Ugh, next subject.
Ugh.
What you got, Tia? What you got next?
Who built this country? That's from Trees. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who built this
Y'all know
country?
the answer to
Who built
that.
this country?
Well, we
Who built
know.
this country? Let's go back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a journey through fucking history.
Are we doing drunk history, Tia?
Oh, I love drunk
It
history.
really is. Once upon a fucking time, there were the people of
These
the
ice cubes.
first nations.
The clinking of the glass with ice. I'm clutching my pearls while she's
I'm pretty sure they have been here for a while.
Yeah.
And y'all motherfuckers decided to come over. And we're going to do what the fuck we want to do. Because manifest destiny, okay? It's my destiny to go from one coast to the other. Let's wipe out anything in our path. And while we're at it, let's enslave some motherfuckers. Bring them over. They can do all the hard work. Well, pause. There were some poor sharecroppers.
Those indentured.
Right. Indentured servants, yes. they did some work too. But the majority was done by the brown people. And you wiped out some brown people, and then you enslaved some darker brown people and had them build everything for you. And then did some shit with your poor, pale people. And yeah, you built this country. You rich motherfuckers, you really built this country. Management, supervision. It's real hard work. Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that
Using that whip.
Oh, sorry.
Delegation.
Mm-hmm. Hard
Real
work.
leaders do.
Riding around on that horse.
That was
raping women and killing children.
yeah.
Listen, I wouldn't be my complexion unless there was rape. So it just is what it is. It's not good or bad. I'm just saying.
Is that part of Manifest Destiny?
Yeah, rape.
Trees, your face.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I was like, look at Teresa's face.
Canceled herself.
Yeah,
I didn't
it
say
sure
that.
is, Trees.
Like,
Rape was in the contract when they wrote it out.
God.
No.
we're so mean. Let me stop. This is, I'm upset.
It's
Yeah.
On that note, let's share our try to wrap this up. We're all getting, well, not all. Some of us are getting a little tipsy.
Wait a minute. Are we still live? Did I just realize that?
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
We sure are.
I completely forgot. And I thought we were just doing a podcast.
Nope.
Oh, I have a question. What did you guys
Love it.
think about his response to the opioid crisis?
Did he have a response?
He did because it was law enforcement. Law
that's
enforcement
right.
needs to be tougher, and that was
And
about
literally treatment was one sentence. One.
There was a
Part
sentence about
Of
treatment.
one sentence.
I
There
missed
was.
I don't remember that at all.
There
Kind of
was.
blacked out on the
I
I had
remember.
to read it over some commentary happening, but there was. Yeah.
I think I stopped listening after he mentioned drug dealers and pushers because I was just like, are you talking about the medical doctors that's prescribing this shit too?
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah, because they definitely give their shit out like candy. Just saying.
stopping people from giving the drugs is not the only part of the problem. Let's be honest, you're not going to realistically be able to stop everybody that's supplying. But for the people that are dealing with it and will be dealing with it, there are ways to address that too.
Yeah.
For instance,
Dealing with meaning dealing or providing treatment?
dealing with is in providing treatment and
Okay.
providing things in their lives where it might not necessarily even lead to that solution to their problems, or making it something that's appealing to them, whether in a recreational sense or just coping with difficult things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you mean like focusing more on mental health treatment and substance use?
Ding, ding, ding.
Huh.
That one totally ignored. And that
And putting
What a
provisions
concept.
in people's lives where they can provide for their families and have stable lives and not have to deal with depressing shit as much as they would with our current environment.
Wait, are you talking about like a living wage?
Huh?
And like healthcare? Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
And not making mental health such a big deal.
Stigma?
Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, these are revolutionary
Something else, I
ideas.
tell you what.
Preventing sexual abuse and physical abuse,
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
That
small
would be
things like
nice.
that. Yeah.
that would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be on the list of topics he did not discuss today. Is the sexual violence that has been running rampant
Oh
around
Oh
my.
yeah,
the media and stuff.
No
he definitely
one in-
didn't touch
no one in
anything
his
of that.
administration was ready to touch that at all.
No.
Grab
I
them.
mean,
Cup them. You don't just grab them, you cup them.
Stop
you
it!
know?
Stop the hand in the camera. Stop it!
So visual.
Too visual.
I couldn't look away.
Were you captivated?
I was.
Kind of like with
man.
this speech tonight. Who wrote
Was
this
it-
speech?
Was
Can we
it
talk
beautiful?
I think it was Stephen Miller.
Yeah,
Stephen
Speechwriter.
Miller, primarily.
I cannot wait until it gets ripped to shreds by my favorite people.
Yeah. I'm sure it's gonna be a good one. What else I wanted to talk about? Oh. Well, the things that he didn't talk about was sexual harassment and violence, but he also didn't talk about gun control. Didn't touch anything about that.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that should probably be regulated here in America, but one can only dream.
Mm.
The real
You have to
dreamers.
be an American to
Yeah.
dream that. Are
Right.
we Americans? What
Can
is
we
that?
dream? I don't
That
know.
means we're real dreamers. You know,
Are we?
we were all born here.
But I'm black.
Trees, no.
Okay, if you notice throughout all of his talks, he only talks about shithole countries in terms of the people that are there or are born there, or had parents that were directly from there and came over here. That would be, from countries like Haiti or Nigeria.
Did you call that a real
not the former slaves from this country. They just all live in the inner city in Chicago and have a lot of gun violence. Yeah.
Got it.
But they are real Americans too, because he had a black person that he talked about tonight, and he's like doing great things. So
Okay.
Right.
I think we're okay.
He's really great with the welding.
Yeah. You're okay, Chase.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a welder. I was like, what are you talking about, that welding?
Got a business welding. So.
That's what I thought too. Why are we talking
We're
about
all
that?
good.
Yeah, he was a worker,
Yeah.
not the owner, like the white couple that owned the company.
Yeah.
Could show some black owned. Maybe they decided not to come. I wouldn't have went either.
So as long as you were born in this city or this country and you have a job,
very far back. Yes, if you were born here very far back and you have brown skin, it's okay. If you were born here and you're pale, or not born here and you're pale like his wife, it's okay.
Okay.
But you also can't have like coarse hair or come from the Middle East, because that's
not okay.
You have to be Christian and very Aryan in the features.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have to speak English, right? That's probably something you need to do. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
She broke that down.
Also, Asia's okay.
You did have that Asian guy represent today.
Asia's okay.
South
As per
Korea.
usual, model minority.
South
Yeah.
Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He really kept it old
What
school
else?
with that stuff, man.
He did. Classic.
Like in general, like he was just trying to say how he's trying to do things differently, but he literally went straight to the playbook of like historical racism.
Yeah.
To me,
Mm-hmm.
like of the model minorities. Now look at this one, that one black person. Oh, oh, look at this this one minority, this one Latino was also attacked by Latinos, and he's a good citizen because he was the good Latino.
Right.
Gotta have your tokens in there.
Have that North Korean, he was, tortured by, North Korea.
So
What is
let's I don't know. I kind of wish our chat would be broadcasted live too. Well, let's give our final thoughts on the speech. Let's start that while we wait for Tia to come back.
Okay.
I'll go.
I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
Well, because I've been thinking about it since, like, as the speech was happening, because my brain just moves too quickly. And here, my general sense of this speech was that it's a very dangerous speech. Like, it is so, the underlying elitism, racism, false narratives to fit a certain agenda, to me, were very blatant. And he was speaking to his demographic in such a coded, disgusting way that I'm honestly fearful. Not even just talking about domestically things that are happening, but also internationally. Like, if you really like take a step back and think about how he phrased things, what he said, what he included, the anecdotes that were provided, it's a very dangerous speech, in my opinion. And it makes me honestly very scared for the future and the state of our union. Like, I wrap that up. The state
Nice,
of our
of the
union.
State of the Union.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get that.
But yeah, those were my kind of final thoughts on the speech.
Those are good final thoughts. Just to piggyback on yours, because I agree with everything you said, that this was a State of the Union address, which is his opportunity to talk to America with Republicans and Democrats alike in one room, right? So I get him like talking to his base, trying to connect with people at like rallies, because he knows that like 100% of people there are for him. But this was his chance to reach out to the Democrats and try to like get them to kind of work with the Republicans as well, because it's a State of the Union address. But he didn't. He stayed true to his right-wing agenda, and you said underlying, but I feel like it was very, very blatant, like racism and the speech sucked, and it was very fear-based, and I just feel like he has no grasp of trying to unite this country or the Congress and the House and Senate.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. I agree with everything that y'all said. I'm upset. I was angry a lot during the speech. Sometimes I felt like crying from anger, but a lot of it stemmed from the fact of like just last year, just President Obama worked really hard the last 8 years to try to bring the country together and unify us and like make us feel like even if we weren't directly impacted or received any type of benefit from his policies, that we were all included. Like, we didn't feel like we were alienated and left alone. We felt like there was going to be hope, and that at some point all of us were going to come together and work through this together. And I just felt like this speech and his entire presidency so far has been the complete opposite of that. And it's very disheartening, because like, I want to have kids someday, and like listening to this speech, how do you talk to your kids about this stuff? Like, how do you having conversations with your kids about being a good person and being, treating everyone equally, and like learning about other cultures and not being mean and assholes? And I just feel like that was a bad example of that. And then I'm also afraid for us internationally as well, because he said a lot of shit in that speech that was just like not okay. Like, no, putting America first, and then attacking, or not necessarily, he basically says he's going to put sanctions on countries who don't fall in line with us or agree with us at all, with the example of Jerusalem. And that's very scary, because it's like, at this point, so the other countries can't have a voice and say what's right and stand up against you. That's scary. But just like the overall language he used was just, like you said, it was very, like Jen said, it was very fear-based, and it was exhausting. And I'm just like praying that come November in 2018, like everybody registers to vote, so that we can take back, so Democrats can take back the House and the Senate to like stop anything that he tries to do that's gonna hurt us in the long run.
Yeah.
Try to stop the bleeding before it gets worse. But yeah, that's all.
I hope it's mobilizing for people. I agree with most of what you guys were saying. I do think he tried to reach out to the entire, well, his idea of the entire union at some points, but his need to speak to people that praise him and see him as a god, which is his base, and then his basis instincts and personality came out, and he can't not cater to those and ignore those things. He has to make those the things that are in the forefront of his mind and the forefront of his speeches, whatever, priorities. So yeah, there was no way he could hide his racism, fear of others, isolationism, all these things that we know that he is and stands for. He couldn't hide those. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I got from it is he still thinks this is a game. He still thinks this is a show. And that what he says and what he does not have real consequences. Like when he was talking about North Korea, it just hit me that like he does not think that people will actually retaliate against him. If a nuclear weapon happened to be launched and just showed up in Virginia or something, or DC, or anywhere that it could reach in the United States, obviously he wouldn't show it, but I just don't think that he thinks it's actually a real thing. It's still some way for him to like do showmanship and show that he's this great person and he's the best and he's the host. He is the host of the most important country of the United States, and that's what's in his mind. And that infuriates me, that he still does not get how much power he has and how important of a role he has and the consequences that come along with it. He's never had to deal with consequences before. Never. Every single thing that he's gotten into, someone has been able to bail him out because of where he is in the world. And he thinks it's a fucking game and he's taking all of us along with him. That pisses me off. That's what I got from the speech.
No respect for the office of the presidency.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. He has money.
Yeah. And
It's a game.
That's exactly right when you said that, because it's the differences between whenever he used to do all that shit and he had people take him out, but he is dragging us along with it, and he doesn't realize that he's responsible for this country and everyone in it, but he's just kind of looking out for himself because he's being super selfish, and that's who he is. Totally agree with that, for sure.
Well said.
I just felt like it was par for the course for him. I didn't really go in with any expectations of anything different from what we already have seen. So I felt like it was typical him, very fear-mongering, very pandering to his tribe or his people. I still feel like it was very scary, of course, based upon the language and some of the subject matter of what he spoke about. But I mean, I feel like I don't really have a lot to say because I didn't expect anything of quality from the beginning. I was just curious to see it. I feel like it's a responsible thing to do as a citizen of this country, but he's him. So it was a Trump speech. And well, he didn't write it, but you know what I mean? Like he delivered exactly what I thought that he would. And that is not good.
Yeah.
That's all I really have to say about it.
And I just have one more thing about the speech and then we can wrap up. I have a very hard time telling if he wrote the speech or if he or if somebody else wrote it for him, because the words he used were very basic and the same word over and over again. And I almost feel like somebody said, "Hey, I'll write this speech for you." And he was like, "Hey, I got it."
I feel like somebody wrote some of it and he went off of it.
Yeah, I think he went off script a couple of times there because you can kind of tell when he's off script. Like he's
Right.
definitely a lot more stiff in his delivery, and when he it's like this kind of like his attitude changes a little bit. His delivery changes a little bit when he's off script. He's a little more loose and gross, and he says beautiful. You know, like
head goes like the beautiful was a thing that
Or he'll repeat a word again, and then and then he looks away. Do you think he reads the speech or like comments on like what it should have before he says it?
He probably skims.
I think he skims. He probably has the projection of it,
right?
Just so that he kind of knows like what words are. But and he might give some of his opinion of what could be in the speech, but I feel like so much of it is he is the mouthpiece for great, I'm on. He is the mouthpiece for his administration. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of his administration and his policy has nothing to do with him. He's just the mouthpiece for it, So when we're putting it all on him, but at the end of the day, it's the policymakers. Those are their words,
Like the people sitting behind him, I literally envisioned them like taking a little puppet thing, and I was like, that doesn't work. Because they don't control him all the way. Obviously, he's a loose cannon.
Right.
So then I had the thought that like, hey, he's like a sim, and there's a mode you can put on where they like control themselves until you tell them what to do. And in my head, he was doing that.
Or they
he's
stick
basically just a puppet.
their hand up his ass, and he's like a little muppet.
But he still does what he wants. Like even if they still can't completely control those movements.
Oh, you mean like McConnell and what's the dude's name? Paul Ryan, because I had his fucking face. Them people.
Mike Pence, Paul Ryan.
I feel like Mike Pence really doesn't do anything. He just hangs out. What's up, girl?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's my constipated face.
Oh, I was like, why are you so close? What are you doing?
On that note, with Tia's constipated face,
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in, whether you watched us live on YouTube or you're watching the recording on YouTube or you're listening to us on Podbean, iTunes. What else are we on? Google Play. Thank you for listening. What are your thoughts? Did you watch the State of the Union? Did you watch it live? Are you just hearing bits of it from our recording? We'd love to know what you guys all thought, what your thinking is on the whole theme of the speech. Whatever you got, we'd love to hear it and interact with you. We're getting some more interaction these days, so I know that definitely makes me excited. So we love to hear from you guys. We will catch you next time. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well. It's W.I.N.E Podcasts with an S. Deuces. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Stay